Hey guys, welcome to a new video. Today I'm gonna make a video about my builds, explaining the builds for my team, including the sidekick Hippo. The reason I'm making this video because I got few requests on YouTube comments asking me what's my builds, what do I use for each character, etc, etc. So I'm gonna show each one and explain it like by like some details that you could find it useful. And let's begin. So, first things first, the Inu. It's a very dominant class, you can find it everywhere, on every single ladder, usually taking the first spot because of how strong this class is. So my build there for Eniripsa is pretty mediocre. I did not really perfect any sockets. I did not really spend too much into it. As you can see, helmet, I put swiftness on it. The reason, like, you might wonder, you might say like, hey, swiftness is usually found on the boots. I agree completely. But the problem is I made this build for my level 170 and 185 back in the day when I just like returned into the game, like 7 months ago. I did not really understand what's the sockets completely, like how do you choose which sublimation to put in which part of gear. So you will find a lot of mistakes here and there with the sockets, colors, with the sublimation that I'm using, etc, etc. So like, don't mind it. Like this is not the perfect build that you should aim for. It's just showing you what I've been using and giving me such a success to completely dominate the ladder in my server. Helmet, some HP, resistance is normal, swiftness, ring with solidity. If you think about it, Eniripsa doesn't need really solidity. He has like in combat like 1800 HP, something like this. So it's really hard for somebody to trigger the solidity. You know, like the solidity is simply, it reads as a reduced direct damage received greater than 20% max HP by 400%. So like, it's really hard for something to hit you for like 4k while you are this tanky. This is the boots. I use positioning knowledge. Pretty useful, like really good rowing overall. Some people might use Wakfu pack, but I really can't use it on level 170 because you can't get 8 Wakfu points easily. Unless you sacrifice too much into gear, which is really not worth it. And tolerance on the weapon, pretty standard, because you get HP too. Paradox parties with save, pretty good. This ring doesn't have sublimation, like as I told you, it's a really simple build, there's nothing too much into it. Inu works perfectly with good or bad gear. So like it's really simple and efficient to make a build for it, because you don't really spend too much into it, and it's really like completely dominates. You can use this bolt as green version because it still gives the same resistance as the legendary version. And the build for level 185 is simply the same thing, but with small adjustments, which is helmet. I turned into this one, which is really good because it gives 2 range, extremely important in Moon. With this like small changes, you get extra 2 range from your gear, which is so crucial in Moon dungeons, cause you know, in Moon it's really range friendly. You need range to deal with the mobs, to deal with the large maps, etc, etc. So that's the Eniripsa build for you, and let's jump into the next one. Now the Ini. That's the build simply for the Ini. I use this epic, the Shushu ring, because it's pretty good. There's like I looked up the other epics and I did not really find any good one, so I use this one with positioning knowledge. You might wonder, like you might think, hey, why don't you use elemental concentration on the Ini like we do in level 200 and such? because like it gives so much healing mastery, because any only uses water, and elemental concentration buffs the water mastery a lot. But I would disagree with that, because in this level 170, also 185, you don't have a huge mastery pool, so you don't really get a good usage of your elemental concentration. Like, it doesn't really give you that much. Like, it's not really efficient, I can say. So positioning knowledge it's really good, because the resistance is like too crucial to get, because everything kind of one shots you on high status. So you get this kind of resistances and add like more on top of it, like in mid fight you add 50, plus you add 20 for devastates, 1 devastate and 2, as you can see. So you add total of 70 mastery during the fight. You might say, hey, your water is very low and such, but I adjust my resistances based on each dungeon I go for. Like, for example, if I'm going Kali, I drop all my water resistances. I don't need it. If I go Xelor past, I drop all my water slash earth resistances on my DDs and like healers, because I don't need them. In each dungeon, you drop some kind of resistance. Like that's how is the meta currently. That's how it works. If I would like change something in this build, I would turn this green socket into a blue one or white one, and I would also turn this red socket into white. This would be so good. What you can like skip in this build is probably visibility. You don't really need that. It's like really expensive, but like I farm it myself, so I don't really mind it. But like it's really expensive, so you should probably skip on it. And I will show you also the level 180 for the Eni, because it's not the same thing. So this is the level 185 build for the Eni. I changed almost the whole set, because more master equals more heals, simply. I use this amount because it has a very high master pool, and anything that reads minus rare mastery, you should always pick it on your supports. Okay, you will find this very abused in level 200 builds. You find an Ini with minus 700 rare mastery, because it's really good. Gears with minus rare mastery has always extra mastery pool, like to make up for the like disadvantage of having minus rare. But guess what? Supports doesn't care if you have minus rare, because they don't damage, they heal. Okay. I swapped the Bagus Shushu with this ring. Like, just you can even like use Bagus Shushu for like for level 2, like level 185, and still like don't mind. It's just a very small upgrade. This shield, like other shields could be better, but I just picked this one because I have it lying in my inventory, so I just pick it up. This the Epaz, you can swap this green sockets for blue also, and put a sublimation here because I didn't care. I didn't put one. Healing on the breastplate. It's really like this colors of breastplate is so good because you can turn this blue into mastery, which gives you healing, etc, etc. And I use the same boots and same weapon because they are so good. Like, they are so good. This weapon is simply the best one that you can find for level 170 and also 185. It's really good. Boots are also good. This belt is also very good because it have minus berserk mastery. Like Ini is never low HP. It doesn't play low, like while being low HP. It's always looking for to heal itself, so you don't really mind that. It's a really good build. Also, a very basic healing relic, and that's about it. So let's jump into the Hippo. So that's the set I'm using for my sidekick. Basically, it is a recycled set from my Feka pre-rework. Because after the rework, the Feka turned into a melee support, which is absolutely like doesn't fit me. So I just like dropped him and changed him into SRAM. But this is his gear simple. You might wonder, why do you have Vivacity on him? Like, doesn't it drop so much resistances and make you squishy? But Hippo simply needs 14 base AP to perform well. If he doesn't have 14 AP, he really does struggle. Because your combo needs like the maximum damage combo that you do turn 1 needs 14 AP. And Hippo does also some kind like of swapping that you can see in some of my videos. It's really effective and really cheap. It's like life-saving sometimes. So like that's why I prefer using Hippo a lot after the fake rework, because I see myself like lacking damage. Hippo really saves me when it comes to the damage department, because he has up to 75% damage buff, so you basically have like 3 DDs rather than 2. Like while he's tanky and also like supportish. Get the idea? So he does the DD support, like DD amount of damage while being a supportish tank, which is absolutely good. Now, the Zelita, you don't really see me used often, cause I don't really see it fitting into like every dungeon. Like it's not a must, cause having a Zelita and an Eniripsa in the same team is too much survivability, too much armor. You don't really need that always. So I don't really use it that often. But that's simply the set for it. For my Zelita. Like you can argue about changing some stuff up, like you don't really need evasion sublimation. But I just stick it in like cause I'm too lazy to improve the set and perfect it. So you can like do it yourself. You can put your own touches, etc., etc. And also I use position knowledge, like as usual. It's a really good epic sublimation that I use everywhere almost. And that's about it. Like as you can see, Lucky Envelope. It's really good for Zelita because you do a lot of armoring. And I picked up this relic because I found it cool. Like it has everything I need from range to AP, so I just picked it up. And this amulet is really good also. Like I didn't pick the relic amulet that I picked for the Ini because it is one Ini master only. Zelita needs water and air, so like I was like, okay, I'll pick this one. And that's the stats. It's like it's a usually tanky. Here you can see the level 185 set for my Zelita. It's pretty similar for the Eniripsa one, with small differences here and there. I use Beach Bandage because I like the extra range. I don't have a range passive on Zelita, so having extra range is really crucial sometimes. There isn't like much comments to put on this build. Like also Rocky Envelope, there's also like sockets to improve, but I'm again too lazy to do anything about it. So let's jump into the next one, which is probably will be the Panda. So here it is, my level 170 set for my Panda. So the basics of having a good Panda set is having 12 AP and 8 MP base. Add on top of that the extra 1 MP from Wild type shield, which makes it in total 9 MP, which is so crucial for Panda because it runs everywhere, it positions people, it does too much at the same time while being tanky. So it's one of the funniest classes in the game, if not the funniest one, and I really recommend getting one, or at least trying it. that's simply the set. What you need like really for the set is swiftness, because it's very important sublimation. But you also need evasions, because you need to have 100% block, and add on top of that blocking expert, which is so good. It gives you reduced damage taken on blocks. And I do also some kind of combo to increase my resistances. I have 2 safe sublimations and I have 2 tenacity too. What this does basically is, if I end my turn with 2 AP, tenacity gives me 25 resistance. I have 2 tenacity, so it gives me a total of 50 resistance. So this 2 AP is not wasted because I have 2 safe sublimations. So it's like a cheap way to get 50 free resistances from your sublimations. You could put Devastate or something, but I didn't do that back in the day. I just used this combo because my friend told me about it, and I said, okay, that's a cool idea. Why not try it? So I did. And for the gear of 185 on Panda, I basically use the exact same set, because like Panda doesn't really need any adjustments. He's tanky by himself, and that's all he needs. And also the level 185 like gears is not so tanky as the level 170 ones. Okay, so like just swap into a wind shield, because like it is a really monstrous shield for like for the tanks, because of how much stats it gives. And we jump to the Xelor now. Now the Xelors. I have 2 Xelors, as you know, and I share the exact same gear on each one of them. So this guy has this gear, the other one has the exact same copy of it. So what's the most important thing in this build is simply having a bag on hand with Satisfaction. Satisfaction reads as free damage over time, which is extremely crucial as a DD. There's no other relic form that really fits you other than, I don't know, like the name of it. It gives like 10 increased AOE damage on people who is aligned with you, but like it's a really not good one, not really effective always. So I literally use it myself a lot. Like maybe I use it as a cheap replacement for Satisfaction, but like Satisfaction is your ultimate goal to get. Devastate, Sublimation, 2 of them, really important. 3 Influence to get your crit maximized as soon as possible. I have 2 belts, one with Solidity, one with Return. I like the one with Return more, because free AP is always nice, you know. And Visibility, because extra range is always good. It has the penalty of losing 100 dodge and 150 dodge and 150 lock, but you don't really care because you're a Xelor. And that's simply the build. And I will show you the build for 185 too. Now, that's the build. You might easily notice the resistance is very bad, as you can see. It's so low. The reason is I'm using Vivacity on my 185 builds, because I'm feeling you don't really need resistance in a lot of dungeons. For example, you don't need resistance in Moon, the totem, Shamoon. You don't really need it, because it just hits you once and like in turn 1, and that's about it. Like you don't really need resistance. You don't really need resistance in Cuckoo Dungeon, the tropical. All you need is air resistance. So like every other resistance, you can go with 0 air, 0 fire, and you don't really like notice it. So like resistance is really not important in the 185 dungeons range, aka Moon. So a very like basic, like as like same exact thing as the last set. 2 Devastate, 3 Influence, sorry, two influenced one, because I replaced one of them with vivacity. Like I have two rings. In places where I get hit a lot, I swap this ring with the vivacity, so I gain resistance. And in places where I don't really get hit much, I just use vivacity, because 13 base AP is really nice. I use Bag on Hand because it's basically like the best relic you can get, or like completely. It's so good. So I just use it. You can also use Belt of the Winds if you want, but like the problem is getting satisfaction for your Belt of Winds too is pretty costly. So you can just stick for your Bag on Hand too. I also use Positioning Knowledge, like very basic too, very simple. Influence too, and Visibility, really important sublimations. So that's about it. Hope this video was useful for you and you learned a thing or two. If you have any question, anything in mind you want to ask, feel free to type for me in the comments, and I will answer you as soon as possible. So guys, see you on the next video. Have a good day.